So today I'm going to talk to you about the cost of living here in Malaysia, because so many of you have contacted me and asked me enough questions for me to put this together. Plus, I've been here now for what, 6 weeks? Just over 6 weeks, in fact, and I've been getting some bills through and really will share the facts and the truth, because I've heard so many people say that you can live in Malaysia for as little as this much, but there is a cost of living crisis here too for the Malays. You, on the other hand, coming from a foreign country, have an exchange rate, and that exchange rate means that you can live potentially a much more comfortable life than you're living in your Western counterpart. Anyhow, let me talk you through the kind of costs that you're experiencing. Now, if you don't know me, I am a mortgage advisor. I am a financial advisor, qualified full financial advisor, I have to say, not just on mortgages. And I do this for a living and have done this for a living for many, many years to guide people on how to buy houses, how to live, how to budget, and just general cost of living. And especially with the world, the way that it is right now, it's crucial because we need quality of life. So let me talk you through what you're expecting to pay here in Malaysia. So if you've purchased a house, obviously, and it's cash, then like I have, because I sold some assets in the UK and I bought a beautiful house for £166,000. And so now I don't have a mortgage and I don't have a rent. However, right now I am renting, and I am renting a very substantial sized property, really, in comparison to the UK. This place is 3,700 square feet. You can rent for less. I'm paying 3,000, so let's go to a rent of, let's stick with 3,000 because it really does depend on the area. Like, I'm living in Malacca and this is 3,000, but a house like this, you pick up and you take closer to KL, you're looking at 5,000, 6,000 ringgits for the same house. Whereas I work remote, so there's no need for me to be in KL. KL is a really nice place. They've got lots of surrounding, smaller offsets there, like Putrajaya and Selangor, and they're all really, really lovely places to live as well. So anyway, let's go into the deeper bit. So let's go for a rent of anywhere between 3,000, and this is for a family of 5. Okay, so I have my bedroom, I have my daughter's bedroom, I have my mother, so 3 bedrooms like that are occupied. I have a guest room, and then of course downstairs there's like what is the maid's room. If you keep a maid, let me tell you about maids' costs as well. Cleaners or housekeepers that live in, and it seems to be quite a thing here, especially with these style of houses, these bigger houses. It's actually not that difficult to clean. The fans help, you know, if you turn them on full speed, it kind of pushes everything to the side, so you just have to hoover around the edges. Rent and utilities. Right, utilities, water, I would say you're not looking at more than 60 ringgits. Internet. Now, I live in a 3-story, so I've gone for a much stronger internet with an upload and download speed, which is costing me quite a tidy sum of money. I think it's something like, where's my calculator? It's about £50 a month. Yes, it's 600 ringgits for, no, 300 ringgits for my internet, which is actually quite a lot of money. You can get it cheaper. I just wanted singing and dancing because this is what I'm doing for you guys, so that's why I'm paying for my internet. Electricity depends on how you use it. Okay, so for my first month, I left my fans and my air conditioning on pretty much 24/7, just to get an idea of how much it would cost if I wanted to maintain that. And it cost around 1,200 ringgits, which is £200. And I'm talking on 24/7, like I left the house and it would be left on because I wanted to come home to an ice box, especially as it's warm outside. Temperature-wise, you're looking at 30, 35 max degrees, but it is always warm and it's a beautiful temperature, but sometimes it's nice to feel a little bit chilled. So we don't do that now. Okay, so we're looking at around 200 pounds if I left it on all the time, but we don't need to. So now we've opted for like playing around with it, obviously at day and night. So let's half that, because I don't think you're going to use as much there, but still making allowances. £100 a month on electricity is still a lot of money in the scheme of it, because £100 is 600 ringgits, right? And this is, don't forget, a 5-bedroom house. They have electric showers here, they have fans, they have air conditioning. Everything is run on electricity in this house, right? So, and with 5 of you living in the house, I think £100 a month is very generous to spend, because the people that were living in the house before us, their bills were paper bills, funnily enough. You know, the old-fashioned way, come through the door rather than all done online. And we saw how much they were paying, anything like 3, 4, up to 500 ringgits, maximum. So I'm going to be generous with this as well and say 600, because that will mean that you still get to do what you would do if you were in the UK with your heating. Have the heating on or the aircon on, cool yourself down, and then adjust yourself, really. I guess there is a huge adjustment to be made here, because when you're in the UK, you are so adapted to this cold weather, and then it's going to take some time for your bodies to adapt to the warmer weather here. And eventually, I guess your body gets used to it. So yeah, let's give you that. Now, food has been a very, very interesting experience, because we went to the top of the tree, which in my opinion is Aeon. Aeon is like your Sainsbury's. And I would say a really upmarket Sainsbury's, not just the normal supermarket Sainsbury's. I would go upmarket quite substantially. Aeon is full of everything and anything you could possibly want. If you want it, you're going to find it in Aeon. Then you've got the likes of Lotus, which was Tesco's and is now owned by Lotus, which is definitely a level below Aeon. And then you've got the family store, which is another level below that. But funnily enough, I didn't find that great a difference in my shopping bill when I shopped at all 3 of them. And yes, I did notice, for example, a big bag of rice we got for 30 ringgits in Lotus, but it was 36 ringgits in Aeon. So you are paying more in Aeon for some products, not all products, but you are going to get a difference in quality with some items as well. Obviously not rice, because rice is a bag of rice, right? There's no difference, the same brand, same everything, but they were charging that little bit extra, which can tot up. Obviously, if you've got 70, even 50 items, and they charge you an extra, 5 ringgits per product more than the competitor, then yeah, you're talking great enough reason for you to shop elsewhere. There are other options as well. So you've got these smaller outlets, but we're talking a big family shop here. Aeon has it all. They have, the beef, they have the lamb, they have the chicken, they have everything that you want in one place. Some locals have already told us that there's other markets that happen on a weekly basis, but we're yet to establish those. And I want to see what kind of quality we're going to get out of those markets. So for now, you foreigners coming into this country, Aeon is going to be the place that you're going to feel most at home with compared to any of the other shops, okay? So let's give you a food experience. You will be looking at, I would say, a week's shop, including your meats, generous fruit and veg, crisps, snacks, the random alternate toiletries. You could say, I'm going to say 500, but I think I should say 6, because you have to allow for like the extra bits. Like if you bought everything, 6, maybe even 700 ringgits for a family of 5, and that includes every small detail. Let's go 700 ringgits. So that is per week, and this is based on monthly, so I'm going 2,800 will do you, okay? The fuel in the car. The car insurance is based on the value of the car, and therefore you will pay one lump sum per year. And it's actually really friendly. So my brand new car cost me 600 ringgits, and that is £100 for the year. So let's talk about the fuel, and that is one of the biggest things that is subsidized in this country compared to what you're used to paying. And you would be looking, I've got a 1.5 Proton, and I own that car. You can buy cars here. I also found that cars here are measurably cheaper than the UK. Probably because we're right next to the likes of Japan, who make Japanese cars, and Proton, and I think there's another one that belongs to China, and also Malaysia has their own vehicles. So because there's no import duties like we have in the UK, the vehicle costs are actually quite a bit cheaper. So the best place to buy a car is going to be here when you get here. German cars are here, the BMWs, the Audis, the Mercedes, but you will find they're a little bit more pricier on not only the purchase but also parts if things go wrong. So that's why I selected the option of having my Proton. Really want to get me a sports car because, you know, here there's speeding restrictions, but they're not as heavy on it as they are in the UK. You can kind of, oh, and they've got drag racing as well. Do you know what I mean? So if you want to do something like that, you could. But I'm digressing. Let's talk about simple, modest living. Go to the Proton, have that kind of vehicle, or a Japanese Toyota, Honda. Fuel, you will be looking at on a weekly basis, no more than, I'm going to be generous again. I'm going to say 100 ringgits, but the chances of you doing 100 ringgits is a little bit slim, and you'd have had to do some mileage for that. So let's be generous, because that always means afterwards you've got some space, right? So let's go 400 on your fuel. And I'm not really going to include the insurance because it's not that substantial. This will then, I guess, allow for those savings for like maintenance of car cleaning as well. And they've got car washes here. They're quite cheap, very, very amazing for what they do. So yeah, that will be there. Now schools, it varies. Okay, so if I said I've got 2 children and I would expect to pay, I'm going to go 20,000 for youngsters. 20,000 times that by 2 children, 40,000 per year. Divide that by 12. You're looking at another 3,000. I'm going to go 3,500 as your school fees. Medical is not too tragic. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm going to say around, for medical insurance, if you want it. I mean, at the moment we haven't taken any medical insurance because you've got GP drop in, speak to them, pay for them as you go, or you can take out the insurance. And really the insurance is this, right? It's the same as private medical insurance in the UK, which I will touch on because it's really important for you to know this. In the UK, you get to go to a GP's in an NHS clinic, doctor's surgery, right? And you have to do your usual waiting around for your appointments. We don't have to do that here. You can go to any of these clinics and you can become one of their patients on a private basis. You can drop into them. The connection is really good between you and your doctor. You can have like one-to-one on the telephone with them. It's just very easy going. And I know that a lot of other foreign countries work the same way. You can go and see a consultant very easily in foreign countries compared to the UK. However, the insurances are for bigger issues, like if you have to be hospitalized as inpatient, if you have to have a procedure, then that's what the medical insurance does. I had medical insurance in the UK for me and my children, and it cost me £300 a month, and that was not including the consultation fee, but for scans and x-rays and then the cost of procedures. So that was for me plus 7 individuals. So I would expect you are going to pay, I would say 600 ringgits, at the worst £100, but I'm not specifically aware of what that is right now. I will find out, and I will cover it off somewhere along the way. Just keep watching for that. So now let's just add this up, shall we? And let's be realistic, because so many people are saying that you can live here for a lot less, but you want a lifestyle. And if you're able to deliver that lifestyle, then you can do that. Now you can also tone it down if you wanna. So let's start off with how much this is gonna cost you first. So we've got 3,000 on your rent, and then you've got 6, I'm gonna call that 1,000. Should we make that 1,000? Let's make it 1,000 for that. 2,800 on your food, 400 on your car and fuel, 3,500, oh damn it, I just lost it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 7, 2, 7, 8, plus 3, 5. gives me 11,300, right? Now let's say you want a maid. So a maid's cost is 1,500 ringgits a month. They were really, really cheap previously because they came from Indonesia and there were a lot of them. But there was a collaboration between the Indonesians and the Malaysians to a fair wage, and now the maids' wages have gone up to the minimum wage and has doubled. So you can have a live-in maid for 1,500 ringgits. So let's add that to that. So 11, let's go 12,800. So that is 2,133 per month, pounds, which is a lot of money. But you can streamline this because we could take off of this, 12,800, you could minus off that 3,000 straight away. You could take that off. You could keep that like that. You could drop that down to 150. You can drop this down, I would comfortably say 4, 12, 16 to 1,800. This doesn't matter. This can be reduced. If you put your child into a Malaysian school, the cost is a lot less, whereas this is very high-end international education level. Medical, you could do away with. You don't necessarily need a maid unless you want a cleaner, and the cleaner can come in once a week or even once a fortnight, really. I mean, I'm managing here once a fortnight. And I was going to get a live-in maid to do the cooking, but you know what? It's not that complicated. It seems quite easy. So there's only 5 of us, and we kind of share things out between us nicely, so there's a good balance. So we could take off that maid as well. So let's take that now into consideration, right? You've got 6, 7, 8, 10. Then you've got food at 1,800, fuel at 4, schooling, let's go for the 3,500 because you might want that really, and then 600 there, gives you a total of 7,100, let's call it 7,100, which is closer to about £1,100. I think that's a little bit more realistic. Like if you want to, I mean, even eating out here is really cheap if you want to do that too. And there's be the odd treat now and then when you go to the malls and shopping and those kind of stuff. Make allowances for that to a 1,500 or a 2,500, just that contingency extra bit of money. So yeah, no, it's not that cheap. And you do get wages at 20, 30, 40,000. No, I'll tell you what, I know for sure that there's, to do a project manager's role here, you could receive around 85 to 90,000 ringgits per year, which is, I'm going to go 85,000, divide that by 12, is around 7,000. And that's a good job. And that's one person. So one person could pay the bills in this country, but I must admit that I imagine that for the locals, you do need both of you working. So that is really a very generous cost of living expectation here in Malaysia. For myself and Hira, really £500 is more than enough. Between £500 and £1,000 is enough for us. You can now, hopefully, with the information that I've given you, make a judgment call for yourself and see whether or not living here is going to fit with your budget and whether you're going to be able to afford to live here. Either way, it's still significantly, I'd say about 40 to 50% cheaper than living in the UK. If you have valued the content of my video today, please put a comment in below and share it and subscribe. And hopefully between us, we can help more people out like you.